Hello and welcome to Premodern Band Talk. If you'd like to find out more about the Premodern format, please do check out my channel. I've got loads of videos all about it. And today we're going to be looking at this incredible article from MTG Banding. You must check it out. It has loads and loads of feedback from the creator of Premodern, some pro players, lots of big content creators and the big names of the format, all talking about this card and many more. But before we get into it, I think we really need to remember why we're here. You know, we play this format because we love the old cards, we love the nostalgia, we love the gameplay, and that's the main thing to keep in mind here, because otherwise we'll be playing with all of these kind of crazy arts and alternate versions. Cards that aren't actually Magic World cards that we're forced to play with because they're printed directly into Standard and you just have to play with them now. And the actual Magic cards have increasingly loads and loads of text, crazy power levels to sell more packs, or are designed specifically for Commander. So with that in mind, you know, I would definitely rather play against Tide decks in Premodern all day than play in some other more modern Magic formats. And when considering a ban, we need to consider these three main things. One is the power level of the card. Two is, does the card warp the format? Do we need to play loads of answers or just lose to that thing? And finally, is it fun or not? You know, it may be fair, but if it's really, really boring and everyone hates it, it might just be worth banning anyway. So I really do recommend checking out that article, as this is just kind of a summary of it. It's an incredible article and it will give you so much more detail than I do in this video. But these are the three main problem cards that are identified by the majority of players. You know, they definitely do warp the format to an extent, but it's really important to also remember, you know, if we ban some of these, then how is that going to affect the format? What other cards are going to suddenly be the best? And then people will eventually complain about those cards and ask to ban those. So we really have to remember, you know, if we ban somewhere, we're going to create a problem somewhere else. And you know, in the past, people have definitely called for Survival and Fire Blast to be banned, as well as Standstill and other cards, so it will definitely happen eventually. And there was an interesting point about Armageddon being a very, very similar card to Parallax Tide, especially in the sense that it has a very similar effect on the game and how the games play out. So we should either look at banning both of those or neither of those. And in terms of all the big names in that article, 45.5% were in favour of no changes at all, and 54.5% were in favour of either banning or unbanning something. And I don't remember exactly, but I do believe that most of them preferred to unban rather than to ban a card. And so some things to remember, there are always people calling to ban the best deck, and that's probably never going to change. The format does usually adjust by itself, and brews are still a big part of the format and are still very, very viable, which shows the format is still healthy. And in my own personal opinion, I think we just need more time, as the format does usually self-correct, and I really think there's a lot of cards that we could be playing that we just haven't had time to try yet, because we only started talking about them very, very recently. So I would really, really like some more time to try some of these before we talk about banning. And I'm not sure if it's just me, but I really feel I've noticed the format starting to shift. I've noticed quite a few control lists like Tide Control and Blue-White, as well as Rexer lists doing really, really well recently. And to me, it feels like things are starting to shift a bit. And you know, Premodern still has a fan base that's very, very small and mostly made up of players who are new to the format, having played it for less than a year and being unfamiliar with all of the different decks. So if some new cool deck comes along and we start seeing lots of content about it, naturally a lot of those players who have never seen it before will move to that deck. So of the players who did want to change something, the ones looking for bans were looking at mostly banning all of these cards, although some just wanted to ban one or two. Although a lot of players were actually more in favour of unbanning something to boost up black, which is often seen as the weakest colour. For me personally, I've always really liked mono black, as I think zombies, clerics and pit rack all perform very, very well, and especially have been doing well lately. And Groatog is another deck that's been doing really well lately and is still very underplayed. And I really think Slithers, you know, no one plays it, but it's really strong. I've had a lot of success with it in the past. And if you give all your creatures Flying and Shroud, then even if they replenish combo you out, you still have all your creatures and you can just fly over and kill them, so that's very strong. And another deck that did come up in the article is Dracoblast, which is a deck I absolutely loved from a few years ago, so I really, really hope that one can make a comeback. Personally, I would really like to see Earthcraft unbanned. I don't think it's even as powerful as Oath of Druids or Survival. I know that there are infinite squirrel combos with it, but I just think that those are answerable and, only untaps basic lands. So I'd really like at least a chance to brew with it and maybe actually test how broken it is. And there is also talk of a rotating ban list, banning and unbanning cards over time, because while there are some people who really don't like these cards, there are also some people who really enjoy playing with them. And I think one of the main issues that we have is that the majority of newer players are coming from competitive formats such as Modern and Legacy, whereas a lot of the pre-existing players came from more casual formats like Old School. So I really think we need to be more aware that not everyone is playing the format with the same intentions. And you can really see that in tournament prize support. Some tournaments have really high-end prizes, whereas others favor much lower cost cards but with some cool kind of stamp or altar. And I really think we could promote more understanding that, generally speaking, the tournaments with high-end prizes are going to be much more competitive, and the ones with the stamped kind of cool stuff are generally more like chill or casual. So guys, definitely check out this article, and if you like the video, please do like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.